Woo! Hello? Anyone out there? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of Renegades Ramble. Today we are going to be discussing a few things.
Blizzard's on fire.
Of course, and also so is Epic Games, but for another reason, after just throwing all of...
I didn't set them on fire yet. They haven't pissed me off that bad yet.
Okay, fair enough, Nick, fair enough. But FORTNITE Chapter 2 is out, which, good God, I thought we were done with this, but apparently not.
I think it's just, I'm assuming it's just a little publicity stunt to try and gen up a little bit.
From what a lot of people are saying, they've actually made the game more explorative, where they don't list anything on the map right now, and you can actually discover a bunch of stuff. Also, you can now fish, you can dive, they have boats now.
So it's a life simulator.
They should have made it to where you personally have like a save on it, and as you run around the map and find places of interest, it fills them in for you, but you have to find them yourself.
So
yes, I agree with that. I think that'd be pretty damn cool.
You run around, you collect resources, you build materials, so you're kind of working. Maybe you can do fish and recreation stuff. All you need left is to have to pay taxes in the game.
Right.
Oh God.
It's just like
it's a libertarian utopia. You don't pay taxes.
Of course.
Yeah. Instead, you just kill everybody and take all their shit.
Everything exists nebulously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A victory royale guarantees you will never have to work for anything ever again. But the problem is, you'll be all alone because you've killed everybody. That's just the way of the world. That's.
So, Blizzard is clearly they are not doing great.
No, they're not.
I heard they canceled they're gonna have some sort of event on the whole Overwatch going to the Switch thing, right? They canceled it.
I guess so, yeah,
so
because given the hellstorm that has happened, all because of them banning one guy because he didn't have nice things to say about China. It's the same thing about the Chinese government banning South Park and stuff like that. It's insane. It's utter insanity to think about it.
And we were talking this a little bit. I am glad though that things like this do happen, because it is very much happening. This is soft power for China to make their voice known, to try and basically hide any of the humanitarian crimes that they're committing, and all of their fucking social credit score shit that they got going on. I think I just recently heard that they're making it now that if your score is not high enough in China, your credit score, you won't be allowed to use internet.
Which is ridiculous.
So, considering how vital internet is for people on a day-to-day basis, that's basically you are creating a hard divide in people. You're making it,
So a lot of people out there, the internet is a utility, much like water and power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the internet is a utility. I mean, its sole purpose.
Your bank accounts go through the internet. You need to check that shit. You need to pay any kind of bills. Everything's done online now. You need to make any kind of scheduling. If you job interviews, a lot of the if you're trying to apply for a job, a lot of that shit's done online now. And so it's very clearly a way to pressure people into towing the CCP communist line. Don't stand in a line. Don't criticize the government, and there won't be a problem. And it's especially when again, it'd be one thing if China only kept it to themselves, but they are so eager to become the next world power that they will try and do this shit, and they're trying to influence. They do it with the Hollywood and stuff. The production companies got it now. They have to kowtow to the CCP demands and stuff, and because it has a booming market and rising population, people can't resist. They get the companies. The company again, playing devil's advocate. I understand from the point of view of for the company, and I don't necessarily agree with it from a moral standpoint, but the absolute priority for the company is to make a profit, to get as much of a profit as it can, and so. It will, skirt the law and do things that are ethically questionable to make the money.
Yeah.
And So I mean, I understand why they're trying to, why Blizzard and stuff is so eager to not piss off China and stuff, because it's a lot of money to be had there.
It is. It is a lot of money. But oh, by the way, real quick, Awesome Block 123 to answer your question. No, we never read chat.
I apologize. Well, because
it's fine. It's fine. It's just we get that every now and again. We get someone asking if we ever read chat, and to which my typical response is no, we never read chat.
That's why we got Nick in there doing that. But the thing is, I've seen on other podcasts where people will be looking at their phone. You'll see it in the comment section. People like, stop looking at your phone, or
Well,
it's like we're reading your comments.
Yeah. The Rooster Teeth podcast actually got in some hot water with their fans because people were just like, they're always looking at their phones. Why are they just looking at their phones? And then all of a sudden, as soon as Bernie read a comment about that, he actually looked up at the camera and he said, "Hey guys, hold on real quick. We're reading your comments and your tweets and everything that you're sending to us. We're trying to be cordial here. If you don't want us to be cordial, then we'll just throw these aside. Is that what you want?" Okay.
Well, I remember they were talking about it's okay if you're on your laptop, but when you're on your phone, suddenly that's a terrible thing. It's the same fucking thing these days. But yeah, the
in regards to the donation, the perk is helping them out on their current goals. Yeah. Truth is, I don't mind shaving my head and making myself look like a jackass because
we got proper clippers this time. So.
Yeah, we actually do have proper clippers this time. Which the reason why I'm doing it is because I'm actually Jacob's PC is in dire straits right now.
Oh, yeah.
His Alienware.
It caught fire a few months ago.
He has this Alienware
smoked
case.
Up our sound studio pretty good.
He has this Alienware case that is he's had for 10 years, he said?
Somewhat, yeah.
Well, he keeps upgrading it and putting new stuff in it and everything, but there's a bunch of issues with it. For instance, it has a proprietary fan at the front of it that is also connected to the lights. So he can't just take that fan out and replace it with another one. Instead, if he cuts out that fan, it kills the lights on the thing. It's stupid. A proprietary crap like that always gets me. But every time we go in there and he starts his machine up, all of a sudden we just hear his front fan just going.
It's like, man, that can't be good.
No, it can't be good. It cannot, especially for the ventilation of that thing.
I was like, is that your computer making that sound? He's like, yeah.
It's a 2-cylinder computer. So
it is. He's put new parts in it. It's just the hard drive is bad, the case is bad, and the motherboard is bad.
Dude, I'm starting to get worried because my workstation is about 7, coming up on 8 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm still running the same RAM that I got when I initially bought it 7-8 years ago.
I'd replace that RAM
and the motherboard.
Okay.
Back all your shit up. Before
I don't save. I mean, my video games and stuff I have on the internal drive, but most of my work is on external drives and shit. So.
That's good. Well, it's good that you back stuff up like that. I remembered when Prometheus first went down, when the hard drive crashed on me, I was just like, oh God, that's like 4 years worth of videos right there. I can't afford to lose that.
And the thing is, now I have 4 5-terabyte hard drives stacked up. Basically, it has redundancies and stuff because they're in a nice, tight, confined shell where they can't fall off because when we first started doing filming stuff, I had a couple external drives, and the first stuff that we had filmed, it was all on one of those drives. Ended up falling at some point or just burning out. I forget exactly what happened, but it basically was unrecoverable. So all of our the first stuff that we ever filmed and stuff just gone. It sucks, dude. It's because it's not really that important because we weren't really posting anywhere. But it was. Now it's always fun to look back and laugh at it and stuff, and we can't, which is sad. But
no, honestly, I had a laptop go out on me, and I had about 30 stories and scripts that I was working on that. I'd had that ever since I was in college, dude. Like second year of college, I bought that laptop, and it lasted me forever. And then all of a sudden, the hard drive just stopped working. And
laptops are even worse.
I went to a data recovery place. Actually, first, I'll tell you the first place. I went to the data recovery place, and they told me, "Oh, it'll cost you at least $1,800." I'm just like, That's about 3 times what I paid for the laptop, man.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, that's what we charge, man. It's data recovery. It's not that simple.
I mean, it's a specialty thing. I mean, I get it, as far as if the data is important enough, you'll put the money out.
Well, that's like I said, when Prometheus's hard drive went down, I had to. I had to. I pretty much pulled in a bunch of favors, and I begged my mom so I could work for her for about a few weeks, and then I saved up enough money to where I could send it off. I sent it off. I got it back, and I got back the little hard drive thing that they sent with me that had a little locking thing on it. You know, the passcode thing.
Yeah.
And it worked like a charm, and I got everything back. But still, though, dude, that's one of the scariest moments of my life because it wasn't just my stuff. It was also stuff from the wrestling school that I was doing video work for. And as soon as I told James what happened, he was just like, then we're screwed, man. We got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like one thing if it happens to your personal stuff, but if it's got your client's information and stuff on it, like you know, especially any kind of video work or whatever they're doing with them.
Yeah.
You can usually, especially with higher end productions, you only get one shot. If you lose that film production on a hard drive, whatever, because it damaged, you're not going to be able to get the people back all together and shoot it again. Most likely.
Well, I could, but at the same time, they'd be putting a lot of people out for about a week, and I just. I remember when I called James back and I told him I got the footage back. He's like, I need you to send it to me right now, man. I need to get that edited right now because we're due to release in 2 days. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I sent it to him 2 days later, and he released everything. Everything was fine. But still, though, dude, for about a week there, I was about shitting myself because I was like, oh, God. I don't know what to do.
Hell, even my external drives, I need at some point. When we get some investment here, I'm gonna get those replaced as well because those are probably about 5 years as well. So they're even those are starting to get a little long in the tooth.
Yeah. Well, you have to upgrade every now and again.
Yeah.
Every now and again, they say the roundabout is 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years, then you need to seek for replacement. If anything. Once you get the new parts, sell the old parts. I mean, that's what I did with Prometheus' original processor and RAM. The processor was still the only thing dead on Prometheus. Old Prometheus was the motherboard. That's really the only thing that died. Which those Sabertooth Z boards, good lord, so many people reported problems out of them, and I still had the box and everything. I still got it. In my house. It's still. I got it boxed away just in case for a rainy day or something like that, and I need to kill someone by crushing it over their head because it's all jagged and got all these pins and everything in it. Yeah, but that's only if a zombie apocalypse.
Right now, things are a little tight budget wise, but hopefully in the next couple months we'll get a nice little injection of funding, and so I'll be able to seek getting that as well as other systems for us to use at the studio. Everything residing on just my computer is probably not the best.
Which is why I've started to resort to doing cloud backup. For instance, Google Drive. Had a spat with Google Drive about 2 years ago over them locking down our old Google Drive because that's where we were storing some of our videos. But turns out they got flagged for something. I'm not sure what. I didn't even know they could do that.
Uploading porn on there?
What?
You uploading porn on there?
No, dude. No, I have a separate solution for that. I don't watch it.
It's OneDrive.
I don't download it. Dude. I mean, I don't
put
do
it on
crap.
OneDrive.
Hell no. Hell no. I trust OneDrive even less. Gosh.
I am waiting for the day when Microsoft gets hacked and my OneDrive account gets fucking hacked and it gets broken into, and somebody steals all my shit for Axiom. My sci-fi military.
Next thing you know,
I see that fucking book out there with concept
coming to theaters 2023. Axiom.
You're gonna hear
original story by credited Sony writer, and all of a sudden you're just gonna be like, "That's bullshit."
You're gonna hear about some violent acts in the news.
Oh, I have no doubts.
I've pretty much have resided to that being my life's work. So if somebody steals that, I'm pissed. Very pissed.
Super Mandible Claw. Unfortunately, we did not. We did not get to watching the Sasuke versus Hiei death battle. Biggest reason I think for that is Nick is. Have you finished Naruto yet, Nick?
No.
Okay, so that's the primary reason why, because there's some spoilery shit, especially if they're considering like end of the anime, end of the like manga run and the anime run Sasuke. Then there's some big spoilers there for Nick, and I don't want to ruin that for him. As for oh God, YouTube unsubbed me for some reason. Skull rants and reviews, that happens. I've actually had that happen. There was a channel I was subscribed to for a long time, and then I looked. I'm like, hey, where are they at? I haven't.
Yeah, YouTube's been doing that shit where they'll just like not at random.
Yeah,
like,
they ghost people.
Kicked off subscribers.
Yeah, they ghost people. I hate that shit because. If they see that I'm an active user on my account and I've been logged in and I'm active on my account, then they shouldn't touch a damn thing. Now, say I haven't been on my account for, say a year minimum. Then they can start removing subs from my thing, or they can start removing recommendeds from my account because it's a dead account and hasn't been logged into.
No, pretty soon.
So it serves no purpose.
Pretty soon they'll just start randomly subscribing you to like fucking CNN or something.
There's actually okay, not to put on my tinfoil hat or anything like that. I'm not going to go full Alex Jones, but I will say this: that one girl who did the like living in a van thing. There's people who I've talked to who all of a sudden at random got subscribed to her. They never watched any of her videos or anything like that. They just got subscribed to her. And I'm like, how the hell is that possible? And they're just like, I don't know. I never watched any of her videos. I had no interest in watching her videos, but for some reason, I'm subscribed to her now.
It's like how iTunes, whenever you get a phone or whatever, there's those like 2 or 3 songs that are just pre-uploaded.
Yeah, or that whole U2 album that nobody asked for. It's like, hey, U2, here's the thing. If people want to buy your shit, they'll buy your shit.
You know what I just thought about?
What?
Everybody wants to say that it's like, YouTube or one of the big companies pulling some shady shit when people get a lot of subs like that. What if, though, it was just a phishing scam where the most, heinous thing they wanted to do with everybody's accounts when they got their login info was log in one time and sub them to a certain channel to help that channel grow?
Oh, God, that's horrible.
A lot of effort just to go through that shit.
You'd be but the
money you could make from shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be surprised if people tried doing that.
Yeah.
If you just log in one time and sub them to one channel, nobody's going to notice half the time that they've been hacked.
Just blame it on Russian bots. That's what everyone else does.
Because it wouldn't be it wouldn't be the most nefarious thing. But
no, absolutely not. The most, some of the scariest stuff, dude, is...
Somebody says I sound like the phone guy from Five Nights at Freddy's when I talk through this.
Sarah Williams said that I look good.
Yeah, you just want to pay attention and not... get caught by those things when they're roaming the halls.
So for some reason we have doors here that sap the power, and for some reason we don't have our electricity on, so everything runs off a generator at night, I guess. So good fucking luck with that, Our setup doesn't really make sense, so sucks to be you.
Oh, Superman Claw, I do remember that. I remember as soon as I said, this happened, no bullshit. I can go back and find it if you give me time. During one of our streams, I said, it was right around the time Alex Jones got banned off YouTube. I said Alex Jones, and our stream went down. I said it, and our stream just went off the air, and we had to restart it about 5 minutes later. I'm just like, that was weird.
His name is like Beetlejuice on YouTube.
Don't tempt the fates, man. Come on. Last time I saw that sumbitch, he was on Saturn getting eaten by sandworms. Whoa.
Yeah, we got memes.
I hate them, right? I hate them myself.
You want to go ahead and hit a couple memes?
Yeah. Why not? Just kick them.
I gotta figure out how to work this new sons of bitch thing.
Sons of bitch.
Because, I don't have the same controls I had before, so, yeah. Where the fuck are they? Where'd you put them, Streamlabs? Pop out media share controls.
Hey, okay.
Take controls. Alrighty. Okay, so we got.
Here's something with this poster here. I'll talk about after this meme.
One from Dusk.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go. Come on, Dusk. What you got for us? Is it classic?
Yeah, it's classic.
Oh,
Oh, it's changing. I want one of these. I want one of these gnome ones, but I want it with the. Now you follow you do. I want one of the gnome ones, but with the Six Flags music. From the,
Oh.
the old man doing this.
the old man dancing. That'd be good.
All right.
Oh no.
I do like. Is that it for now?
Uh-oh.
What do you got?
Uh-oh.
Well, this will be the intermission of the podcast. This is just me, I guess, now. I'll go ahead and read the comments while we're suffering through this. Sarah asked me if I would ever be an animated something. Sure, you're talking like voice acting? I mean, I suppose, I don't mind. My...
Open the door!
Oh,
Nick!
it's over.
Say open the
Not
door!
over.
So Nate is here losing his mind trying to break into the door.
Swear to God, if I get this door open...
You won't. I'll break it.
Don't break my door, please.
Okay.
You have to do it the right way, Nate. Throw a smoke grenade in there. Smoke him out.
Well, yeah, the door has to be in.
Oh, he can go through the roof, I'm sure. These are ceiling tiles.
I don't know what he's trying now, but it still won't work. It's a big ass metal door. Need a SWAT team to get through that door.
If you're talking about voice acting, Sarah, yeah, I mean, I suppose I could do that. My voice range isn't great. I have this weird, like, bare, like, monotone type accent. I don't know what it is, so, but sure. I love animation stuff. There's, Are you good?
No. No, I'm not.
Alright, you wanna
You gonna
watch,
work at it?
A new one from Dust?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Max, can you pretend like you're Morgan Freeman coming to kill me?
Show.
Please do that.
Oh, I've seen this. I can smell you. Peak scene Anders, man. This is when he was at his best.
Around right now. You just can't see me.
Run down the hallway and then comes Nanners. That
It sounds like a sitcom. In comes Nanners.
Oh, look at that. You're so close to me. It's almost like I can feel your heartbeat.
Shut up! Fucking Diction.
You can do no such thing.
Diction gets so scared by. Oh, there's Renee. Got you, Renee.
Stop shooting me! You shit! He's there!
There's Hutch.
He's down. He's up the stairs!
Let's go over the stairs. No, I'm not.
Thought about it! He thought about it!
Oh, God.
I'm touching you right now. You don't even know.
Freaking Diction. Diction got trolled so hard by Adam, Scene Anners. Got trolled so freaking hard. And of course you had Max doing like the awesome voices. You know, the Morgan Freeman. He also did the Joker in one, which was I love that one too. He's like, I'm a dog chasing cars.
It's all part of the plan.
Oh God! All
Back
right.
to the Blizzard thing. I heard that some people are trying to play around with the Overwatch thing by making May, like arting May up as a supporter of the Hong Kong protest. Which I think is fucking awesome. And I hope it catches on.
That's brilliant.
I'm hoping that it catches on, because if that sticks with people and the CCP is like, nope, and then gets rid of Overwatch in China, then Blizzard basically has no choice to come back to the light side. Or
Come to
maybe
the dark
that's
side.
maybe I'm being overly optimistic about that, but it would be fun.
Yeah, Dusk with the dollar
drums.
donations for the win. Dusk keeps throwing those dollar donations and keeps torturing me with that Wii theme. God, oh, it hurts.
Stay tuned next
My
week
hand
for
hurts
when
a
he
little
starts
bit from like
taking
beating on the
an
door.
axe.
I literally tried to punch the door open, but that's a steel door, man. That's a tough freaking door.
Tune in next week for when he starts taking an axe to the control window.
Hell no, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, honestly, I don't even think an axe would work. I mean, that's tempered glass.
Yeah,
This is
it
stupid
probably would.
because, now my controls look like this.
Oh,
And
what?
so, it's taking up more space on the screen, so I can't see anything while I'm doing it.
Streamlabs OBS, why you got to do this to us? What did we do to you?
Yeah.
Maybe they just anticipate people working with like 7 monitors or something.
I guess.
Yeah, you really need a third
Sorry.
monitor.
Sorry, people.
It's kind of shitty that they did that.
Well, if we need a third one, I'll see what we can do. I'll see if we can't use one of our older ones. Actually, I'll see if once we upgrade your monitor, if we can't move one of the older ones over here. I mean, we'll see.
Look at this. They fucking minimized everything because I tried to show you that.
That's stupid. God, Streamlabs OBS. We love you, but Jesus
Stop fixing
Christ.
Shit that ain't broke.
Yeah.
Alright.
God.
Worse.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah.
Remember the next one?
Oh, sure, go ahead. Oh.
Is that a new
This is
thing?
from Freelancer.
Huh?
Is that a new subscriber thingy?
I think so.
I
No.
wanted to get that life experience and say,
I
I've
can
been
see
around
that.
the world.
I could actually see that. That'd be pretty interesting, to say the least.
First world problems.
God, dude. You know, I remember when we actually did like an interview segment with Veronica Taylor. That was so freaking cool because she just sat down with us and we were just like, for about 15 to 20 minutes, all we did was just talk to her about, her experiences at the con life and, and just also what it was like voicing Ash for 8 years and just overall, she was such an interesting person to talk to about shit like that. And we actually did the interview. If you want to see the interview, it's actually on our channel. Just type in Veronica Taylor on our search bar, and you'll find it. And
So what else are we talking about today?
oh well, movies. I mean, Joker is still at the top of the box office in spite of all the negative press and all the negative criticism levied to it about how it's going to cause shootings at movie theaters.
I saw a meme today, and it was like all the news channels logos were like put in a box and they put hands on the side of them, and they had a stick and they were poking the Joker poster, and it's like, cause a mass shooting. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
The only, I mean, I definitely don't agree with it. It's a whole bunch of horseshit. The only thing that I could see people referencing to that is with the whole, if you remember back when the Dark Knight Rises,
The
came out,
Aurora,
Yeah.
Colorado shooting.
But
That was look. Here's the thing: people want to address blame to things that can't defend themselves. For instance, they wanted to. Whenever the Aurora mass shooting happened, they instead of blaming the guy, instead of media blaming the guy, instead the media decided to have a trial by media against the movie company and against the filmmakers. What would cause a young man to do this? Trying to get to the why behind the reason and everything, the reason behind the action and everything. Instead of actually going to the guy himself and actually getting his 2 cents as to why, because in one of the rare occurrences of a mass shooting, the man didn't die. Because in the majority of mass shootings that happen, the perpetrator often offs himself.
or get shot by the cops.
Or get shot by the cops. But truth is, everyone wants to address blame to something instead of someone. It's because nobody wants to admit that humans are capable of terrible things. No, instead it's these awful like pieces of art that it's just like the book burnings back in the day when they burned Fahrenheit 451 and they burned all these other books that asked questions and everything like that.
Well, like the dude that shot Ronald Reagan, he was like inspired by like the Kill a Mockingjay or something like that.
Yeah, Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah,
Mockingbird.
And then and of course, guy who tried to assassinate who was it? Tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan. He wanted another one. Tried to kill Ronald Reagan. Did it because he wanted to impress Jodie Foster, John Hinckley. I read about that and I'm like,
the dude. Well, and that was funny because like the dude that one of them, I guess. I remember the one where like they tried shooting Ronald Reagan.
Oh no, they shot John Lennon because of Catcher in the Rye.
The Ronald Reagan guy, he actually just got released from prison like a year or two ago.
Yes, John Hinckley did because of the man was mentally disturbed. I mean, it was clear to see from his behavior and everything like that. He had a mental impairment. Now that he has been effectively cured by it, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, Jodie Foster said that she forgave the guy, even though he did it in her name. He committed that terrible act in her name, and Ronald Reagan's not here to accept his apology either, but that's for other reasons. But whenever people do terrible things, people often want to associate blame. For instance, another thing, when the Columbine shootings happened. Everyone wanted to blame something. Instead of blaming the two guys that did it and looking for ulterior motives as to why,
They blame Doom and Rorschach.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, exactly. And you see, they go after these objects or these ideas or this art that really can't defend itself against these allegations, and they assess blame to it, and that's it. They move on. Because in their mind, they completed the task. They completed the crusade. But instead, Marilyn Manson actually had a pretty good comeback at them, because Marilyn Manson, when Michael Moore, as much as I dislike Michael Moore, the movie Bowling for Columbine had some pretty interesting stuff in it.
I can see in the chat, Metalhead, Nate doesn't have to tell me you said
Metalhead? Oh, hi, Metalhead.
What's up?
One of the things, like with the, obviously the God.
Well, I was just going to say, Marilyn Manson was interviewed by Michael Moore about, the Columbine shootings and what he would have said to those boys when they did that. Marilyn Manson said, I wouldn't have said anything to them. I would have listened to what they had to say, and no one was willing to do that. That was the problem. And he's 100% right. Conversation, going back and forth. I know people are afraid of that. People live in behind the little window of comfort of the internet, and they see all this terrible stuff happening on the internet, wars, famine, disease, and, terrible people on the internet, versus actually going out there for themselves and finding this out, that the world actually is not that
pretty good.
terrible
It's
of a place.
Sensationalist shit.
Yeah, everything's sensationalized to the nth degree. And nobody is willing to look at that. Instead, they're willing to look at what someone else tells them. And I wish that the world was perfect. I wish you could walk outside and not be afraid of a terrible thing happening. But you could very well be sitting in your house and die of a heart attack, or be sitting in your house and a meteor could, odds are very slim, very, very slim, astronomically slim. But you could be sitting in your house and a meteor could just come crashing down and destroy your whole house. Or a Donnie Darko situation where a plane's engine just falls off, goes through a wormhole, and just winds up over your house and crushes you.
We're a quarter mile away from a nuclear fuel facility here.
Yeah.
So that could be turning into a Hulk any day now.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the problem that a lot of people have. A lot of people think the worst before they even have a chance to really see the good. And I wish that the world were perfect, but it's not. Well, it never will be.
The thing with the mass shootings, like the thing that we hear with a lot of these, where like an AR-15 is involved and stuff. I understand that. My view on it, I'm kind of, I understand that civilians don't need an AR-15. They don't. I understand from if you're running for like the whole self-defense argument, then the argument of you need it for hunting is not necessary. If you need an AR-15 to hunt, you should probably find another hobby. But
have you heard about the incident with the farm in Texas that they had government people come and try to unlawfully take the land, and the dudes there defended the land and themselves with AR-15s until it turned out that yes, the government was in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They had to fuck off, but that never gets put on the news or anything because they don't want that as part of their narrative as to why.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, civilians don't need these kind of weapons, except for they actually do work for what their intended purpose is, which is to prevent government tyranny.
And you want to hear and there was another shooting incident that actually has a very has a parable that actually to me is both hilarious and the Charlie Hebdo shooting, the one that in France it was this magazine that drew a parody picture of the Prophet Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and these two guys came in and pretty much slaughtered the place and killed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Well, a group in Texas thought, you know what? Let's have our own Draw Muhammad competition. This is Texas. This ain't Paris. This ain't France. This is Texas. They hold this competition in a fairly large building, and two men showed up to try and take care of business. Two extremists, and they came up and they opened fire, and they were dead before anyone could even say a word. And it was like, this is Texas. I mean, how could they not see this a trap coming?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Texas.
The AR-15. I mean, I've watched kind of videos on different things as far as analytical stuff with it, and the fact is banning AR-15s and stuff, even if you got rid of it, it only takes out a tiny percentage of shootings, like of homicides that occur with guns.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about pistols and handguns, I mean, easily concealable weapons are the ones that people should be worried about.
So, I mean, you read the statistic that more people were murdered with knives and even killed with no weapons.
So, I mean,
than were killed with guns.
I mean, so if some people want to ban AR-15s and stuff, I get the why people jump to that, because that's where they see these mass shootings happen, but it's not mass shootings will easily happen with any kind of other type of firearm.
Well,
the dudes at Columbine, they were using like shotguns and shit.
Yeah,
look on Wikipedia, there was a mass shooting with a crossbow in Canada at one point.
I don't even know how the fuck you do that. I mean,
no, I do. They have those reloader.
When nobody has a gun to shoot back at you, it's pretty easy to use a crossbow to kill a lot of people.
Yeah, I could see that.
So it's like an auto. You don't have to like put it on the ground.
No, it's one of those that has the little ratchet on the bottom that like has a spring load that pretty much reloads it.
Magazines and certain crossbows.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the world's a dangerous place in certain cases.
That builds like crossbows and shit, and has built like an automatic crossbow.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like
feels like a 10-shot.
Weapons and stuff out of like just wood and strings and shit.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. Look, you look at the extreme circumstances. Everyone wants to look at the extremes to justify the norms. I mean, I mean, it's just like the vape cases going on now. Like I see what's going on with the vapes, and it's terrible what's happening.
Well, and that's the thing though is here's the problem with coming out and saying shit like that. Even if like it, like the ban that they're talking about doesn't actually go into effect or whatever, the damage like that the media has done, the damage is already done. I mean, we were talking with
effectively
Jacob.
Trial by media.
Yeah, I mean Jacob is saying that they're having trouble and stuff. That shit's got to be happening.
Well, their business is going to be shutting down.
Yeah, so they're dealing with has to be happening across the country. Too.
It is.
I mean, and how many of those people are now out of a job and have to you got entrepreneurs that were contributing to the economy, and with fucking one fell swoop, now they're all out of work, and I mean it's
almost like they did with weed whenever they did all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I have absolutely no doubt that the fucking tobacco industry was jumping for joy at this shit.
Oh, I don't doubt it, because you look at okay, for instance.
Oh, it's actually come to light that a couple people that had to do with the bans and shit, like politician-wise, are actually shareholders of tobacco companies.
Of course.
Yeah, they're in the pocket, of course, because why not? There's always reason behind actions most of the time, but but with all the stuff that's happened with vapes, I mean, they said like, 1,000 people have become sick from vapes, and now the death toll is in the 20s, and I'm like, that still is peanuts.
Yeah,
compared to
literally fivefold for fucking
fivefold a day, dude. I mean, every year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hundreds
Not
of thousands of.
I'm sorry, 5 magnitude.
Yeah. So it's like hundreds of thousands of people die from cigarettes every year. Literally hundreds of thousands, and we're supposed to freak out over 20 deaths from shitty vapes. I'm sorry, but no. I'm not flipping out over anything. That's just like when everyone was causing the SARS panic back in 2008, 2009. Everyone was just like, "Oh, SARS is going to come over here and kill us." It was a light cold. Have some soup, drink some Sprite, and don't be stupid.
Remember
People have
that?
died from measles after the unvaccinated outbreak that's happened, and have died from those illegal vape cartridges.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone talk about that?
Everybody wants to advocate for the rights to not vax your fucking kids.
Look, I'm all for, personal choice and all that, but at the same time, when it comes to personal health, like if the government really wanted to inject you with something that's going to give you mind control or some shit like that, because that's the whole thing, it institutes mind control over you, and it does all these other things.
Gay.
I wouldn't go that far. That's actually they actually said the fluoride and stuff like that in the water is what does that.
No,
but
frogs are hermaphroditic.
Yeah,
anyway,
frogs do that all the time. He has a point about the fluoride and the shit that is in city water and all that, which is why I try my best to have as best of a purification system as I can. Not like a Brita. Britas don't do shit. If you want,
I took one of those. I will have to disagree with you because I took one of those when I went out to China because they're.
Oh well, in China, no, well, get stuff like that. But what I'm talking about here in the States, in terms of the compounds that's in water, not just the minerals. Because you see, that's built to get rid of minerals. It's built to get rid of perchlorites and shit like that. That most countries don't give a shit about, and they just put that out in the water system anyway. Yeah. But in terms of fluoride, in terms of the other compounds that are in there, there's not much that they can do about it unless you run it through a dedicated charcoal filter, which my refrigerator has, which I actually need to get a replacement filter here soon, because it's starting to it has a little thing on the middle that lets you know when the charcoal is actually filled with the compounds and everything, and it's yellow right now.
So I'm assuming it's to fight bacteria and stuff inside the water. Or?
Yes. Yeah. Whenever you use city water, it meets a standard. No. It doesn't. It's not 100%. It's just for instance, in factories as large as a Coca-Cola plant or something like that, there's no 100% guarantee that a mouse is not going to piss on top of a pop can. It has to meet a standard. It does not have to meet 100% required cleanliness. It has to meet a standard. And that's just like what it is with city water. And that's what it is with most things out there. I'm all for having running water for everybody, but in terms of the compounds that they put in there to purify the water faster, the formaldehyde and the not formaldehyde, but the fluoride that they put in there, which is supposed to help with dental health. They put that in there because they said it helps with dental health. I don't get it.
It's because I don't know if
you're meant to swish and spit fluoride.
Yeah, that's
it's what's in toothpaste.
They tell you on fluoride packaging when you actually put the fluoride on your teeth, not to swallow that.
Yeah, you rinse and spit. That's it. And it's scary to think that a long time we've had this stuff in our water, and we've had this stuff for instance BPA's as well. The plastic byproducts that was in baby bottles and Tupperware containers and all that for well over 20 years, and actually has been shown that has led to certain strains of cancer, like bowel cancer and esophageal cancer. And also it leads to a bunch of other side effects as well. For instance, hormonal imbalances. It actually has caused kids to hit puberty faster than the cows. You remember back when they had the cows doing the whole thing where they actually had growth hormone in these cows to make them mature faster, so that they could milk them sooner or slaughter them sooner. And that growth hormone, turns out, once kids eat it, they hit puberty faster. Like, there was a 9-year-old girl I knew who hit puberty. 9 years old. That's friggin' ridiculous. I see that and I'm like, whoa, that's like 4 years early, right? Because according to my health book, it's like between the ages of like 12 and 13. This girl just turned 9, and she's already like, what the hell?
It could also be normal cases too.
Well, no, it was a strain of all sorts of them, dude. Like, more and more, the age of people hitting puberty, especially women. It was women who were affected by it the worst. Turns out it went down a couple years. It went from ages 12 and 13 to like 10 and 11. And it's been like that for a long time. And now BPAs are actually causing it to happen in boys. And it's actually the girls, and it's also like having a detrimental effect on females as well. And it's crazy stuff, man. I mean, when you read about it.
We have to boost our population numbers to fight the alien horde that is going to come and attack us.
BPAs aren't helping, dude.
Early.
BPAs aren't helping because it also leads to infertility.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean...
We'll switch to cloning then.
Oh, God. Oh, I can see it now. And here we are, 2050. We have 2 presidential candidates, Jack Johnson and John Jackson, both cloned from the same exact ass whelp from a politician from, I think it was 25 years ago, right?
It was Futurama, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Glad you caught that reference.
I love.
And it's like we have Jack Johnson and his opponent, John Jackson. Wait, what? And then you had Richard Nixon with a robot body. Remember,
the Constitution says that nobody can be.
Nobody can be.
Which is why I got a new one.
I got a new shiny metal robotic body. Hurroo!
I always love that, like all the people that could just have their heads in jars. That was a fun aspect.
I remember.
It didn't really make any sense for any of the people from modern day, but whatever.
I remember when they were going through the Hall of Presidents. And they had George H.W. Bush, George Bush Sr. there, and it's like, sorry, Bender, but we can't allow you to stay here. We can't just let every Tom, Dick, and Harry stay in here. No offense, Truman, Jefferson, and Nixon.
Yeah.
You see. I like comedy like that. I like comedy that stretches boundaries. For instance, like, how are these heads alive in jars? I mean, did they clone them? Did they do all that? And it's like
space magic.
Yeah, space magic. They never really give you a full explanation. And honestly, we don't really need one because the comedy's there.
Yeah,
it's a comedy series.
There's absolutely, they're using like dark matter for fuel,
which is an impossibility.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be an explanation for it.
No, there is.
But
of course, my favorite sound ever is nibbler, like munching down on something, or him. For instance, my favorite one is like when he drinks the pool water full of chlorine, and he just like is laying there on the edge of the pool after drinking it, and he starts getting sick, and he burps, and it's a big chlorine cloud just comes up in the air, and then everyone just like passes out from like the chlorine gas, and then they're sitting there like, ha ha, puny cute. Oh wait, chlorine.
Acidic.
And then he runs up and falls over. Some of the funniest shit ever. Yeah. And if you know your science, which I did, I'm just like, oh yeah, that is right.
Well, that's the thing. Like Futurama, it's not, obviously there's no accuracy to it, but the writers are smart. They're like, they have a lot of mathematicians on the writing staff, and so that's why they put a lot of math references in there and stuff like the remember when Bender goes through time, he has to do the binary.
Oh yeah,
0 1 0 God, I gotta go back. Fine.
God. So altogether, I mean, things could be worse. I mean, I mean, we could be in the middle of an age where China dictates literally everything that's on our televisions.
That's just like I said. With this having this become a lot more publicly aware, even if it's still only kind of probably in the gaming community, boosting awareness will help fight this kind of stuff. And because what China really is trying to do now, and hell, they've even blocked this book in China from being sold, or I don't even, you might be able to own it, but I doubt it. 1984. Yeah, like
Ray Bradbury.
They will not allow that book.
Big Brother.
Sold. So it's perfect. They like I said, it's all about soft power for them, and doing this kind of shit. Influencing foreign countries allows the aspect of hear no evil, see no evil kind of stuff. If nobody can talk about it, then it doesn't exist. So
it's the house of cards.
You don't hear about the
it's that house of cards that they built up, and as soon as one of them tumbles, the whole thing just comes falling down. But they don't want to get rid of it. Nobody does.
China definitely. I don't think it's certainly not going to go away as a power for sure, but it definitely does. It is built on a fragile type structure. The only thing it has going for it right now is that it has its population. It's doing decent economically, and so its population doesn't have a reason to be annoyed with the government or pissed off. And that
I would be if I were them. I mean, for instance,
let me rephrase that. Most of the population is not doing great.
Fair enough.
Most of the population is still making poverty, easily poverty wages,
and they're living but they're also living in state housing, which costs literally nothing. It's literally a concrete egg crate.
Oh, that doesn't fucking last for. Well, they'll build the crappy housing and stuff too. That shit'll fall down. But they also build crappy housing in cities that are mind-numbingly expensive, because there's this huge property bubble and stuff that's in China.
Yeah,
and it's gradually it's starting to get to the point where it's going to pop soon.
God, that's going to be a nightmare for them.
But the thing that China has going for it is, for some reason, I don't know why they get away with it, but they just have the power to, be like, they're saying that our money is no longer worth. It's worthless because we're doing all of these irregular practices for our budgetary systems and what we're investing in and stuff like that. Well, we'll just ignore that. That doesn't exist. And apparently, fucking everybody else in the West and Russia and everybody else goes along with it. I guess. So
in terms of China, they are the world's cheap labor force. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, the thing is, though, what's good to see is that is actually going away now too. Like, a lot of companies are, especially with what Donald Trump has been doing with the whole trade war and everything.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
A lot of companies are going to like Vietnam and a lot of other type countries for that kind of cheap labor aspect, which does hurt China. And China is steadily trying to grow its own domestic type market, which, hey, fair enough, fine.
No, I mean, that's what you need. You need a domestic market and an international market. I mean, that's why the United States has lasted as long as it has, is because we built up our domestic market. Mm-hmm. We put a hell of a concrete foundation down for it. It's just, the problem is, a sinkhole started to develop right underneath it, right in the middle of it, and the sinkhole just keeps getting wider and wider, and that concrete base isn't getting any wider.
You talking about with the debt?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You see, we have a concrete base here by everything set up by FDR, everything that Eisenhower signed in, all the stuff but very slow, but the concrete base hasn't gone anywhere. But that little sinkhole that opened up around, I would say, 1974, 76, whenever Nixon was in office, that started the whole, first off, it was healthcare. It was, privatizing healthcare and giving it federal protection. You see, that's the problem a lot of people have with all this stuff that we have nowadays, like insurance companies, like HMOs and like pre-existing conditions. Why people can't get general health care at an affordable rate is because they made it illegal for you to do anything outside of what the government dictates is right. And what the government dictates is right has been placed upon them by the insurance companies and the healthcare providers. And most doctors out there want to help people. Most doctors do, but because Medicaid and Medicare came in and pretty much made health insurance a mandatory thing you had to have, either you had to have an insurance card mandatory, or you had to be on Medicare or Medicaid, or otherwise the doctor would have to be charged and would be at risk of being sued. And that's where the whole thing came in, and thus you start eroding away at all the different ways of people being able to make a living. I mean, hell, the United States denies doctors coming into this country to work. Like doctors from India, doctors from England, doctors from Africa. They deny all these doctors coming in because because the federal government only allows a certain amount of doctors to be certified in the United States every year, and that number has not changed since 1983. I mean, has the population remained the same since 1983?
No.
No, it hasn't. The population's gone nowhere but up. But yet we expect the same amount of doctors every year? Are you freaking high? And the reason why it hasn't changed is because the insurance companies and like the healthcare providers, the pharmaceutical companies provide such huge kickbacks with these lobbying cryouts that nobody's willing to do anything because nobody wants their pockets to get lighter. And when one person's pocket gets lighter, everyone's pocket gets lighter.
And what you brought up there, as far as when the trend started in the 1970s too, it's coincidentally when fucking high-end corporations and stuff like that started getting lower and lower tax rates.
Well, lower tax rates, I'm all for, I can see Micah's position. Micah's position is income tax being illegal, which, honestly, given all the stuff that our federal government does without our knowledge or our knowing, to me is a bit, that's not asking for much. To be the income tax being relieved, but sales
property tax and sales tax.
Well, property tax and sales tax, I could see that being a viable source of income, but only for certain instances. For instance, if the person, okay, here's what I would do. I would initiate a tax break on small businesses for their first 5 years. For instance, I would make it to where an individual who sets up a entrepreneurship, whether they start an LLC or whether they decide to go into a private business for themselves, that's pretty much for the first 5 years they get a little bit of a tax break, whether it's at 0% or at a reduced rate like 5% or 7%. Now, later on, if people can say, oh, but they'll just close out and start a new business under a new name. No, by association, if the person who was in a previous business over those 5 years decides to try and just close shop and start up a new business again 5 years later to keep that tax break, they don't get it. I mean, and it requires oversight, and in order for it to have oversight, you have to have computer systems, and you also have to have people who are willing to look into these things and not be bought out. And in order for that, you really need to make sure that they're getting paid right and getting paid well. And infrastructure is very vital and very important to business when it's ran the right way, especially. When it's ran the right way, infrastructure is so important. However, how it's run nowadays with derivatives and these machines that just constantly throw around money on Wall Street like it's going out of style. I mean, you're talking about such giant fluctuations of money that
one day, oh my God, this stock market's crashing. The next day, oh, everything is perfect. It's the best year ever.
Exactly.
The best day ever,
And I believe in the free market economy. I believe in it. But the reason why these corporations have such protection is because the federal government allows it to happen. The federal government allows it. And that's what I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the federal government coming in and just declaring all these, things protected simply just because we say so. I don't agree with that. I think every business, no matter what it is, whether it's, mom and pop's laundromat down the road, or it's Trump Tower, all businesses are open to pretty much any kind of scrutiny and any kind of business strategy. They're not immune from failing. Like any business can go under.
Like the fucking banks in 2008.
Yeah, exactly. I believe, hey, Morgan Stanley and all of them should have gone under. Let them go under. And people can say, oh, but what will it do to the economy? You know what it'll do? It will balance back out.
Yeah,
because
we'll be fine. You'll be in prison.
Exactly. That's how capitalism works. That's how capitalism is supposed to work. But instead, crony capitalism, with what you got now, or corporatism, as some people call it, is effectively when the federal government protects these people and gives them a free write-off.
And give certain companies special treatment.
Exactly, and then they place a collar around a fall guy, Bernie Madoff, for instance. Bernie Madoff had the collar thrown around his neck, and everyone placed the blame on him. No one looked at Ben Bernanke. No one looked at Alan Greenspan. No one looked at Robert Rubin, Larry Summers. The list goes on of all these asshats on Wall Street who got away with it, and who suffered for it? The American people.
On that note.
Yeah, on that note.
Cheerful note.
Yeah, sorry.
What else we got?
Movie coming out next week. Have you seen Zombieland?
I have.
Okay, Zombieland Double Tap, the sequel, coming out next week. Very excited about that. Very happy to see 10 years, man. It's taken them 10 years to make a sequel.
Is it supposed to be like, I don't know how much you know about it. Does it take place 10
years later? Yes. Okay. It takes place 10 years later. Everyone, like Little Rock has grown up, Abigail Breslin, her character's grown up. She's she's like a young, like an older teenager now, like young 20s. And of course everyone else has grown up.
It comes out this week.
Oh yeah, it comes out this Friday. That's right. It comes out this week. Sorry, but
sad. Our theater here in town closed down permanently. So I have to drive half an hour up to Johnson City just to go fucking see a movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But I'm excited to see what they do in that movie, because the two original writers are back, who were the writers of the two Deadpool films, and Ruben Fleischer, the original director, is back. So the band's all back together. And plus, go ahead.
The only thing with that, though, is that they have to be careful with, is especially with 10 years of time that has passed, the comedy that worked 10 years ago might not necessarily work as well, now and stuff. And
well, you see, if the bad things that were happening in terms of the comedy were happening to like real life human beings, then yeah, I could see that. But the thing is, I worry that zombies have ran their course, and people aren't going to watch it because people are sick of zombies.
Dawn of the Dead drove that shit, or not Dawn of the Dead, fucking Walking Dead drove that into the ground hard.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking done with zombies.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't watch The Walking Dead whenever I watched the first episode, and I was really stoked because I was like, oh man, they're actually recreating something for once rather than changing everything up so that people can experience something they love.
That lasted all of about 2 seconds in the second episode.
No,
and then the second episode comes in and they're just like, ha ha, psych.
Yeah.
Just like, fuck you. And I kept watching it a little bit just to see where it went, and they made so many dumbass decisions with it that I was just like, yeah, I ain't fucking watching this anymore. This is
fair enough.
Ron makes a point all the time that especially when it comes to slow zombies, if you get killed by a slow zombie,
you're a pussy.
You deserve to be
you deserve it.
Slow zombies, the problem with slow zombies is numbers.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
But my problem with zombies is purely from a biological perspective. Obviously, I'm a little bit more realist with it than I should be, but
they also start with a element of surprise and confusion, because people see their loved ones walking towards them shambling and moaning, And normally you're not going to be like, oh crap, they've become a zombie. You're like, what's wrong with you?
That's understandable. I get that, but
all of a sudden it's too late. They got you.
The one aspect that I did like was that they introduced towards the end of I think the first season, where everybody is infected. Like, as far as they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to just outlive this, because everybody has the disease. When you die, you become a zombie if you're not.
And that's a good. I liked that at the end of the second season. I liked that. But I liked when we found that out.
That's why the only zombie movie I've really liked in quite some time, probably since Zombieland, has been Train to Busan. They made zombies goddamn terrifying again in that movie.
Well, those zombies, they run. Those are running
zombies. Are a different story.
Jog. Like, they're not like sprinting zombies, but they move a little faster.
Yeah.
Running zombies.
Shuffle.
Running zombies definitely put things on a whole different level and stuff.
Well, yeah.
But
and then of course you get like infected and stuff like that. For instance, like 28 days later.
I like 28 because you could shoot them in the heart because they're still living people. Like
they're human.
It says in 28 weeks later, like after like 6 weeks, all the infected starved to death.
Yes,
which means they're basically
that's a logical thing.
Living, yeah. I mean that is a good way to
Yeah. They're infected.
Because then the numbers aspect works well, and then
like the Dawn of the Dead remake, those are undead, so that's a lot harder.
What was it, Day of the Dead or whatever it is?
Oh God,
Dawn
of the Dead.
The Dawn of the Dead whole franchise thing lost me when the zombies started becoming cognitive and could like
during
Diary of the Dead,
Land of the Dead. Yeah, it was Land of the Dead. Where that one.
I'm just like, really?
Like, yeah, dude, that was hard.
Whereas for me, I love the original Night of the Living Dead, and I love Dawn of the Dead. Those two right there are awesome.
I didn't mind the Dawn of the Dead, the remake that had them like in the mall or whatever.
Oh no, that was great. I love that. That's probably my favorite Zack Snyder film. I know a lot of people say, "What about 300?" I like 300 too, but I'm just gonna be honest here. I mean, that movie made me terrified of zombies. It achieved what it did.
Horror movie remakes, besides maybe like The Evil Dead, that's actually pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's as good as, but I will definitely say it has its own flavor, and it is definitely a worthy watch.
Yeah, like I still like the original better, but like,
I do too. Same here.
I guess it's like classic, you know.
Well,
it has a different like vibe because it's got almost like the uncomfortable vibe that like stuff like Silent Hill and there was out there, whereas like Dawn of the Dead just has like a terrifying vibe. Like the new Dawn of the Dead has like a terrifying vibe.
Yeah, 2003's Dawn of the Dead is very like breakneck speed terrifying, whereas the other one is like a looming terror,
Dread.
Yeah, looming dread. Like, what are we going to do? Like literally, because we have nothing. We have a helicopter that's got very limited fuel. What are we going to do? And that's it. And the way they leave the film off, to me, I actually like the original ending better than the new one because the original ending, you don't know what happens. Like
when they get on the boat?
No. In the new one, they get on the boat, but you see what happens. They get to an island and apparently they get overrun.
Yeah.
But whenever they are on but in the original film, the two main protagonists get in a helicopter and fly off, and it's already low on fuel, and they have no idea what the hell they're going to do.
Just take that up as high as you can and just enjoy the ride down.
Oh God, no, I couldn't do that now. Yeah. I'm not that crazy. But
I always find it funny. I always find it funny, like in like especially when it comes to the standard slow zombie type thing. Somehow the U.S. military is like the first thing that falls apart. And it just makes
even though it makes no sense.
Like, also, Ron, in terms of if you get killed by a slow zombie, the RE2 remake actually kind of makes slow zombies a bit terrifying.
That's right. Because
while you can, like, they're definitely not the most threatening thing in the game, but like the beginning sequence and such, where you're having to run through the streets, it's like you have a handgun, you don't have near enough ammo to take down all of them, though, and it's just like you're having to run past them and stuff, and it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I
didn't
understand,
but you know, it would still be really intense in real life with that many around you.
Yeah,
I did like in what was it like as far as being more intelligent of how you do it, and like in a real world scenario. Like I read the zombie survival guide and stuff, and like when what was it World War Z. At the end of it, where it shows like now they have a way to fight the virus and stuff, and so they're taking the fight to the zombies, and they show like the U.S. military, like they have like a stadium just blaring music to attract as many zombies as they can into it, as possible, and then drop like a fucking Moab into it. Fucking brilliant! Like,
yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
No, it's true. I mean, that's how that would work because. Eventually, once you figure out their weaknesses and you figure out how you can exploit their weaknesses, then something can be done.
Yeah.
However, what we got in World War Z is very similar to what we got in Train to Busan, although they're a little bit of a mix of the Dawn of the Dead and the Train to Busan zombies. And they are terrifying. They're very, very terrifying. But my main problem with that film is that it completely just overthrows the original plot of the first film of the book, and instead just Brad Pitt and his family, and Brad Pitt's hair. That's it. Just the main thing about that film is just Brad Pitt's hair. That's it. His hair, just like he's always just like, I'm here to save the world. It's like.
I did like you're talking about the World War Z, right?
Yes.
Where they're getting off the plane and the dude immediately slips on the ramp and
shoots himself in the head. Oh my god.
Okay, we were developing this character. It seemed like a good character, but nope, let's just kill him off.
Yeah, let's just kill him off and leave all the attention on Brad Pitt, who, keep in mind, isn't really a scientist. He's actually just a professional.
Like a UN guy.
Yeah,
he's like a dude from Peacekeeper.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, what are his qualifications again for him being able to, scientifically figure out what's going on? And also, he's in there and he injects himself with these viruses and everything. And I'm like, what happens if he doesn't read the bottle? He's just
Super SARS and AIDS together. Perfect.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's just like, ha ha, I'm gonna live for.
Oh yeah.
Just throw up and just die right there.
So,
and
we're at an hour and 15. We got 4 memes.
Okay.
Hey, kick him out. Yeah, kick him out, man.
Freelancer Matt.
Woo! Woo!
Is Freelancer Matt, Freelancer Dan the same person?
I guess, I don't know.
Maybe they're brothers. And I never really ever learned that. Is Digimon just like a clone of Pokemon?
Pretty much. Well, it came out around the same time, but Digimon is its own thing. Has enough originality in it to where I'm just like, yeah, it's good enough on its own.
Yeah. And what was the whole Yu-Gi-Oh thing?
Yu-Gi-Oh, actually Yu-Gi-Oh's its own thing too. It's got enough originality into it, I'd say, to be where it merits its own thing.
We got one from the Gimster 101.
Oh, Gimster.
Says, let's strive to achieve this level of sainthood.
Oh, God. What level of sainthood?
The following is a Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. All owned by Funimation, Toei Animation, Fuji TV, and
I don't know if you saw the latest one for SAO.
Akira
Toriyama. Please support the official release.
Little Green,
Dende,
do you know anyone on this planet who might be able to do that?
I know of one person. He is called the leader of our people, the eldest Namek. It is said long ago when our
Was this done by something Woody as well?
This was done by Team 4-Star. Team 4-Star did a parody of this.
The drought? No.
Me, Namek.
No.
No. What is it, Lord Guru? I saw a fish.
It was pretty.
That is all.
That is all.
Go back outside now.
Oh god, this is so horribly dull. I hope something exciting happens around here soon. I don't care what it is.
No.
What?
I saw a bird. It was pretty. Kick its ass.
Freaking love Super Comic Guru.
Lord Guru, I have terrible news. Someone has attacked the planet.
This is very serious. I must put on my war face. There. Now show me yours. Needs work. No. No.
Yes, Lord Guru.
Clean that up.
An
albino Namekian. Kill it like the rest.
The Joker voice one, so here it is.
Oh, God. Yes. Yes.
Wow, look at this.
This. Interesting.
I'm a dog chasing cars.
The dolphin laugh.
Scared. Where are you?
Those very emotions you'll be showing to me very soon.
Oh, hey there, Renee.
No.
You look mighty scared.
Oh, poor Renee.
Somewhere you can hide. Oh my God. Where are you? I don't know. Did you see something?
Oh! Yeah, got him.
You would think it would be a lot easier to kill the Joker than just it's always portrayed.
Mighty scared, Renee. Huh?
And Cat
Only there
Noir,
was
the
somewhere
only
you
one
could
that
hide.
says Gurky.
Gambling with Gurky. Freaking yeah. That's Achievement Hunter.
We'll use an action card and spare Fleck.
Thank you so much, Gurky. I will remember your kindness.
I will use it against Spreader-chan. I knew it! That's not healing salve. It's contact poison. Pick another player, they lose 2 fortitude.
He poisoned you!
Oh.
Why you do that to me? Because I felt bad for this sack of shit.
What is this game?
That's what the bond goes for.
I forget.
Bad.
Sounds like it.
Well, Damien just got a game we've been playing the last few nights. It's a family game.
This magical
It's like,
poison is called roofies.
Everybody's. It's like
I've created a stronger substance called gurky.
Gurky.
Let me add a little gurky to your drink. Where does it come from? You don't want to know.
Of course, that's where it comes from, you asshat.
Ah, but it's wonderful.
Alright.
Oh, what?
You can pick and choose what you want to leave in from that over
I
at the
must
bar.
order a drink, leave it all in. Let Gurky hang out. And dunk his junk.
Leave it all in is unfortunately not the first time
He's
Gurky has said that.
dunking his junk, and the people love it. They ask for more, and I oblige.
No.
Why do you think Gurky was asked to return to this establishment? No one brings in the clients like Gurky.
Gurky will order a drink and drive a date.
Has Gurky done an action? Oh, he has. He stabbed
He
you.
did his
with
action.
something. He was.
He stabs no one.
You stabbed him with
All
poison.
right.
yeah. Damien got a game that it's like like characters in a tavern or whatever, and they
Oh, yeah?
they're like they've just come back from an adventure, and so they're basically it's like a competition between. Pretty much you get like fortitude and alcohol content.
Oh.
And if you get them to meet at the middle or something, yeah, you lose. I don't know what it's called, but
Manuel wants to know if I can play his one that he sent me on Discord.
If you want to, it's up to you, man.
sure.
I mean, I'm cool with it. As long as it's not like 50 minutes of something.
I think it's longer, but I can put a cutoff time on it.
It's longer than like 50 minutes?
No, it's just longer than the
51 minutes.
limit that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, anything else in the comments while he's doing that? Anybody got any questions?
Oh, it's called Dragon's Inn.
Dragons. Yeah, okay. That's what I think. That's what Damien got.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he's been playing on the computer, but I guess they made a board game for it, so that's what we're gonna play. It's fun to do it when you're drunk too.
Also, here soon, we're probably gonna try a Let's Play style video.
Okay.
I'm gonna at least try and edit it. It's gonna be 3 perspectives: me, Nick, and Jacob. We're all probably gonna try and play like Humans Fall Flat. You ever played it?
I feel like I've seen it.
Whenever you're ready for it.
Go for it.
You have to show me videos.
Yeah, boy.
Coming for me?
Oh no.
Where'd you get that beer?
this is for you, Nick.
Yeah, boogie.
You're probably beating the hell out of the mic.
I don't know.
SpongeBob, quick, reel it in! Can't you hear the music? Cut the 4/4 string off the note of the G minor! Every sailor knows it means death! We're living before it's too late! Hurry, SpongeBob, the music gets out of time! Let's make it feel less.
I get it. No Nut November.
Internet, I need your help. I have this song stuck in my head and I don't know what it is. It goes.
Oh, this is probably my favorite. And I have a dream.
We got one more.
At least we got the Kaiba one. Yeah. After this, play the funeral prank video that I showed you and Jake.
Okay.
That one's priceless.
Ruby season 7 is really starting soon.
Oh no!
Rampage, continue.
What are we doing? How did you? He's down here. You had E3.
You don't know where I am, Goldie. You are making a calculated guess.
Gold glove. Oh no!
There's no
Why are
guessing.
you talking like that?
You okay, Z?
I just.
Oh, Z Royal Viking. Uh oh.
Little hug hug.
Kill me, I was on the other side of the truck. He's coming around the right-hand side, I think. See, stop fighting! Just on the side of the truck, directly across the right diagonal.
I would move. Z, bail out. Bail out. Z, bail out. Move
He's in
elsewhere.
the green room. He's in the green room. Go outside. It's easier to see him out there.
Yes, make him track his foot in the snow steps.
And I can see him. He's coming around.
Z, where are you going? Stop it!
I saw you. Oh, hey! Window.
It's up on top. He's yeah.
C Nanners walks single file to hide his numbers. He walks single file to hide his numbers.
He's not a friggin' sand person.
Oh, you're in so much trouble.
Z, look behind you. Z, look behind you. Z, look behind you.
I was in front of you. Oh, you're so fucked. I'm not even gonna help you out because there's no way.
Oh, Z! Oh no, the spooky ghost!
Yes, they killed me. This is
Oh god, it's so tense!
You're a monster.
Oh, Adam, just kill him already. Adam, thank you.
And I did enough damage to me that I should. Guilt trip, chill Nanners. Fucking Nanners.
Oh man, that got my heart going on that one.
You gotta stop him, guys.
Yeah, stop me!
Shut up, you.
God, dude, C Nanners back in the day, man, was my shit. I'm still subscribed to him, and I miss him posting stuff, but he got out of the YouTube game and went into real estate.
Sounds like the bad job switch for like a hero. He did 25 years in the service doing special operations.
He's happy. I can't discredit Adam. I mean, Adam has done his fair share for YouTube. I mean, he's done like his fair share of support and everything. And he's made his money, and he's choosing to retire and live off of it. Which, if he ever does come back, I love this. Man asked this to be played at his funeral when he died.
Hello? Hello? Let me out! Where the fuck am I? Hello? Let me out! The fucking bag in here! Where the fuck am I? Is that priest I can hear? That crook! Let me out! Hello? Hello? Stop the mask! Stop, I can hear you!
That would be kind of fun. That would be a good way to kind of keep everybody's spirits up.
Who's there? No. He's in shaming. I'm in the box. No, I'm fucking front.
That'd be a good way to cheer everybody up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We got any other memes?
Nope, that's it.
That's it? Okay.
Where are we at right now?
About an hour and a half almost.
Yeah, we're over an hour.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for Ruby Season 7 here the other day, so it's going to be coming out soon. Are you still looking at trying to do any kind of reaction to that? Or
Maybe. I don't know. I still haven't watched 6. I mean, personally, it's just... I mean, I was doing it with Micah, but now I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Micah still wants to watch it. But I wouldn't mind...
I'm not sure if a lot of time, honestly.
No, it's exactly, because he barely has time anyway because of everything he's got going on in his personal life. And, yeah, the less I say about that, the better. I mean, the man has priority.
Keep up on My Hero and our new series now that was One Punch Man. So.
Yeah. We finished One Punch Man Season 2, and now we are moving on to bigger and, well, not... Actually, I will say it. Yeah, we're moving on to a much longer series that, honestly, to me, is something I'm actually excited to watch again. It's one we've actually tried to do before, but due to...
Is it Bleach?
No.
God. You'd be doing that shit for fucking 14 years.
Yeah, no, he's already seen it. Me, I've seen it already, too. I'm not going to subject Micah to that, because that's just too much. That's 300 plus, like 350 plus anime episodes.
Jesus.
I mean, it's nowhere near... It's not as bad as, like, Detective Conan.
Got some of the filler out.
Yeah. It's not like Detective Conan or friggin' One Piece. God, dude.
I was watching the series on YouTube. Eventually, I just kind of like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to let this play and just kind of let it play in the background because I can't sit here and watch all of this.
It's
too much.
It's way too much to try and take in one sitting. I mean, and there's one series that I've been able to watch, like, beginning to end, nonstop from waking up to going to sleep. And just so I could catch up on a lot of the stuff. And it was One Piece. Holy shit. It was like 200 episodes, dude,
up
straight.
For like 4 to 5 days just sitting there. In front of the
Days? Dude. It was about 3 weeks.
Oh, my God.
3 weeks. Like, that's almost all I did. And I was like, okay.
So I'm assuming you have a... So you have a general understanding of the show, then?
No, I know the show from beginning to end. But... I did catch up on movies because I wasn't... By the time I started watching it on the one episode that really got me intrigued, I'm like, I wonder what the hell's going on here. And I'm just like, where do I have to start in order to catch up? And then I looked and I saw that they had these movies that were like catch-up movies. They had one that went over like their first... When they were still on their first ship, the Going Merry. And then they had one which dealt with Nami's big issue. They had the one that went over what happened in The King of Alabasta. They had a whole lot of movies and like crushed together episodes that for me, I watched and I was like, okay, so I know what's going on here. And then after that, I had to do catch up on pretty much like almost 200 episodes.
Yeah.
And then by the time I caught up, I was just like, okay, now let's watch. Yeah, and I kind of like burned myself out on it actually to some degree because I watched about another 100 episodes and religiously, and then I was just like, okay, I see basically where they're going. I'll check back here in a little bit and I'll see what's happening. Like about a month went by and I hadn't seen an episode, and I'm like, oh God, here we go again. And now I'm about like 50 episodes behind again, and I'm just like, whatever. I can look at synopsis and catch up. I know what's going on. If there's a big battle happening, I can watch it.
Yeah. Have you watched Psychopaths?
No, I have not. A lot of
Nick,
people tell me to watch like Psychopaths, Psychopaths, Mob Psycho 100. There's a whole bunch of. There's one that just came out that someone recommended to me, Arifureta. From being the weakest to the strongest in the world. It's actually a guy who pretty much gets left for dead by his group. He falls into this dungeon, like a literal like mob dungeon, and it's 100 levels deep, and he's on level 30, I think level 20 or 30 with his group, and then the bridge starts to collapse, and he tries to jump across, but as he's trying to jump across, someone in his party interferes and actually makes him fall into the pit, and he falls to like level 80. And down there, and this guy, he's an alchemist and like a technomancer, so he doesn't actually have any like powers or fighting skills. And the first thing that happens to him is he comes across this one big gigantic demonoid motherfucker, and it bites off his left arm.
Jesus.
That's how the anime starts. I'm hearing this and I'm like,
it sounds like a better, much more brutal SAO.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I've seen like some artwork of it and everything, and it borrows a little bit from Gintama because the main character in Gintama, from what I understand, the reason his hair turns white is because he like drinks the blood of a demon or like it consumes a demon, and the character apparently in this one, same thing. He eats the body, like eats the remains of this demon that he was able to kill by some miracle, and it changes his hair white and actually like infuses his body with demonic energy, and he gets stronger. And I'm like this actually sounds pretty wicked. Although it borrows some stuff, still sounds pretty wicked. There's like SAO mixed with Gintama and all sorts of crazy shit. And I wouldn't mind watching it.
No, and you guys get a chance if you want to check out Psychopaths. I think it's 33 episodes altogether. It's only like 2 seasons. Good show. Got a bit cerebral to it. Got some brutal murders to it, which is kind of cool. But,
well, hey, you're speaking our language right there.
Yeah.
Especially Nick.
I just premise it with saying that the police have some really, let's say, brutal yet also very time-consuming weapons that they got to use. very not combat. Well, no, it is combat effective. Oh
yeah, Supermandible Claw. You are right. From commonplace to world's strongest. Yes, I think that is the original name for it. I looked up a synopsis for it and I saw like a preview, and looks interesting. Looks very interesting, but I forgot her name. But the green-haired girl is next for Death Battle. Lynette? I'm just joking.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm just joking. I'm joking. Lynette's hair is both green and blue, so...
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You didn't say what is Lynette, so you lose.
Yeah. Into the pit of despair with you.
All right.
All right.
Anything else you want to say?
Nah, that's it. That's pretty much all I've got. So, again...
Also, I don't know, but it looks like Not the Meme Man donated $3, and maybe the meme didn't come through, because I don't remember a meme with reference.
Sounds like another ASDF video.
Reminder that John McAfee is a living Joseph Joestar, so if you want to DM that to me on Discord, so I can try to play it next week.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to. I mean, absolutely.
So you think Blizzard is going to continue its downward spiral? Or you think
yes.
You told me that was you.
Yeah, because right now Blizzard is trying to do damage control instead of taking a side. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. They need to just nut up and take a side and take their losses as is and stop doing damage control. Because if they nut up and take China's side, okay, their American audiences are pretty much going to abandon them.
Mm-hmm.
However,
did you see that they played both sides of it?
I did not.
Yeah, they made a tweet specifically for their Chinese audience that was like basically like, yeah, we don't.
Oh yeah, like they definitely.
Oh yeah. But
and then they made a tweet to everyone else that was like, yeah, we only did this because the rules stated that you can't use this as a platform for anything but accepting your reward, basically.
Well, see, the trick there is that they're hedging their bets that no Americans can speak Chinese. So.
Which there's a lot of Chinese immigrants that live over here who speak both Mandarin and Cantonese, and they're just going to be like. Actually, I guarantee you, Kyle from Bitwit's gonna look at that. He go, "What the hell are they putting? What Blizzard trying to pull? My ancestors in China right now. They rolling in their grave thinking about this shit." I love Bitwit, Kyle. He's like he's half Chinese, and he doesn't care about like people doing like the stupid pseudo Asian accent.
Yeah.
He doesn't hate that. He actually laughs at it all the time. Yeah, he's a good sport. I like Kyle.
I'm surprised that that's why when I heard that South Park was being
Tatsumaki. Okay, Tornado from One Punch Man. Okay.
That's why I was surprised when they said that South Park is banned in China. I was like, South Park was in China because they had the Shitty Walk thing for since the beginning of the show.
That's a parody that they can get behind, whereas them speaking ill of the Chinese government. That's a big no-no. Anytime you speak ill of the Chinese government,
this can't have possibly been the first time that they ever.
Oh, I guarantee you they had episodes that were heavily censored, but not their entire broadcast from now on until the end of time is just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Also, my phone just died.
Okay.
Oh, poor phone. I guess we're gonna call it here, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else to add out there, Nick?
No, I just gotta pee.
Okay. So we're going to let Nick have some relief, and we're going to end the episode here. So for those of you out there tuning in, thank you all so much. And if you all want to help us out, feel free to like the video, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to stay notified. Until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Roan.
I'm Nick.
And we will see you all in the next one. Peace out.
Bye.